Look, this is, you gotta be kidding me. Hello, people of the interwebs. It's your favorite standing on the side of a fancy hill in California, Sarah here, with a special car review. It's the all-new 2022 Honda Civic Si Sedan. It's the new 11th generation Civic, and I'm here with a bunch of other journalists reviewing all orange ones. So if the internet seems flooded with nothing but orange SIs, they were all orange here, except for one blue one. This video is going to be a little bit different than my standard format of car review because I'm out in the middle of nowhere in rich people land right now. So as far as exterior styling goes, you can only get the 11th gens now in a sedan. Wheel and tire wise, it does come standard with these 18-inch matte black wheels that are wrapped in a 235/40 18-inch Goodyear Eagle F1 tire, which are proving to do pretty well back here on these twisty roads. Since I only have a limited time in this car, I'm just putting on the screen here some of the tech specs on this Si. I do plan on doing a review on it on my second channel once I get one, and I'll put it up on the lift and we'll nerd out on all the tech specs under the car. The 11th generation also gets a redesigned exhaust. It kind of reminds me of some of like the aftermarket tuners like HKS, the way they did the piping on this. I imagine it has to do with removing a lot of that rasp that these L15s tend to have when you put aftermarket exhaust on them. As far as the trunk storage area goes, yep, it's still pretty enormous back here. Wait for it. He's going fast down that hill right now. That must be fun. Anyway, say what you will about the new Integra. It makes sense why they did that and only offer this in a sedan now, because it's basically the same car, but the Integra is a 5-door hatchback. So if you want a different body style, you get the Integra. It's funny, a lot of people buy more vehicle than they actually use. They think they need a big back seat with more doors, but they don't actually use them. So like I said, I'm not going to be following the traditional format as my regular reviews just because of the setting of where I'm at. I absolutely love what they did on the interior in this new 11th gen. This dashboard down here is so cool looking with this little honeycomb mesh for your HVAC vent that goes all the way across. And it has like these little floating stalks in here to move around where the airflow comes out of, little joysticks, and your little cute hazard button in the center. As far as the back seat goes, there's not a lot back here. There's no USBs or anything. Just like the last generation, the back seat has plenty of legroom. Considering how tall I am, I'm not cramped at all. That's interesting. Texture, it looks like if a fish was a robot. I like the fabric in here. It actually has like a pinkish hue. Brick feels nice and durable on the door cards. Cloth down here. And the center console is pretty deep. It's pretty deep, boy. The gauges on the 11th gen are a nice blend between analog, digital, and fingerprints. Over here you have a traditional speedometer that is an analog style gauge, but over here you can see the shadow of the big screen for your tachometer, which measures tacos. Exactly. This thing has 67 miles on it. This is brand new. Doesn't have a flat bottom steering wheel though. It's not a bad looking steering wheel. It's grippy, feels good. All of the SIs come standard with a Bose sound system, and it does have Fruit and Robot compatibility, and dude, jamming out. Fly Like an Eagle. I actually kind of like that song. Got some metal pedal covers down here, and it's really good spacing for heel-toe driving. Just when you think they couldn't improve upon a Honda 6-speed manual, they did. It's got a little bit shorter of a throw. So crisp. Like, so crisp. In the name of science, it is now time to give it the beans. As far as drive modes go, you have a little switch down here to engage them, and it makes fun noises when you press it. You got normal, sport, and individual, and that's really fun. It shows you a breakdown of the car and what will change. And if you further hold that switch up, it brings up an additional menu so you can further configure it exactly how you want it out of engine and steering. And then I'm also gonna disable traction control because I like to party. Ready? Ooh, a little bit of wheel spin. Get it, car. Get it. That's good. about as fast as the previous Gen Si in a straight line. It's fun. Popping the hood. Literally popping this hood on the side of a road right now out in the mountains. Somebody's gonna think I broke down in a brand new car. Hello and welcome to I Don't Have a Garage Science with Sarah. Under the hood of the 2022 Civic Si is still predominantly the same as the previous generation. It is still the same L15 1.5 liter direct injected turbo 4-cylinder that produces the same 200 horsepower, although the torque has slightly changed. I'll put on the screen here a dyno plot of the power band now. It's a little bit more torque down low because of some revisions that's been done to this little 1.5 liter. And fun fact, it's the same displacement, 1.5 liters, except that first gen had 12 valves, produced much less horsepower, but weighed probably 1,000 pounds less, I would guess. That's a brand new car and there's already some schmut underneath here. Some leaves. Oh, that's cute. Little itty bitty turbo up here in the front. Plenty of room to work on this thing over here by the exhaust manifold, which I think is cast into the turbo, all one unit, likely a twin scroll. And if you were to put an aftermarket downpipe on here, you'd definitely net some extra space because that factory cat is pretty huge on this thing. In the back here, you can see plastic intake manifold. It's actually quite a bit of room to work on this in the back side of the engine too. It's not too stuffed underneath the firewall. You can see back down there also, below that intake manifold, the steering rack. It's time for the braking test. No one behind me? Ready? Ooh, jeez! Good brakes. These are actually really good brakes. I wasn't expecting much out of them. A lot has to give credit to the tires, but not bad. Not bad. Hello, I'm back. I actually didn't go anywhere. I'm still on the side of the road in like rich people land. Anyway, one transmission choice for this Si, and it is a 6-speed manual. The only transmission that should ever be in one of these. And when they one day eventually go EV, you could still put a manual transmission on an EV. Jeep did it with that Magneto concept. If you don't know what that is, you should Google it. So Honda, if you're listening and you do make an electric Si 10 years from now, put a manual transmission in it. You can still do it from an electric car and it would be dope. And now for a brief moment in Honda history. They got an OG Si here. It's an 86 Civic Si Hatch. I'm more of a fan of the EF hatch. I think proportionally looks a little better, but I do like the back glass on this first gen. So fun fact, my first car was actually a 1990 CRX Si. So these things have a soft spot in my heart. And look at that, that's so cute. There's a flower by the little pea shooter exhaust pipe. I hope Honda doesn't get mad at me for this, but there you go. Now unfortunately, the new generation Civic Si is not available in a 3-door hatchback. I know it's sad, but let's just face it, everyone wants things that are bigger. Bigger is not always better. These little guys, 175/70 R13s. Are they hubcaps or? Yeah, they're hubcaps. Cute though. Now obviously this thing has been repainted because this paint, that's a pretty good paint job, that's for sure. They did it right, but they didn't do the jams. You see it's still single stage here on the jams. But this thing is pretty minty on the inside. It smells good too. It smells really good in here. I know it's kind of hard to see because of the lighting, but 113,000 miles. That's just barely broken in. Look at this little OG tape deck. Panasonic. That is so cute. Why can't new cars have fabric like this? This cloth is so soft. Love this. It's like an old couch. All right, it's a 35-year-old car. See how the door shuts. Like a glove. Alright, so these are the famous roads that we came out here to experience in the hills outside Los Angeles. I don't California much, so if you're a native of this area and you're like, that's not where you are, okay, whatever. My experience of knowing California is from playing Grand Theft Auto. That's how I know California. So I want to try out my drive modes. Sport, individual, and normal. And I'm just gonna use sport. Yeah, That rev match downshifting works pretty good. I don't know if this was so much of a turn or just go left. Wow, those are rich people houses. Jeez. You would think that it would lose the induction noise because it's turbocharged, but this thing does sound good still. This is fantastic. It's like a go-kart, and it's a 4-door sedan. Reached the top of second gear right there. It doesn't rev as high as I kind of wish it would, and that's just because I'm used to old school Hondas that rev high. But the power band is way more enjoyable in this thing because there's just so much grunt down low. A little bit of torque steer right there coming out of that corner. See, this auto rev match works. Yep. Did it for me. I've been doing it on my own even though it's still turned on. So it's kind of like a question of, am I doing it or is the computer filling in gaps for me where I may not do it as well as a computer would? Yeah, this car is great. For the money, it doesn't get much better than this. It's tough between this and a Type R. Like, the Type R is fantastic, but you save so much money on this SI and it's still so much fun. Oh my God, this is so good. So good. It likes to dance. I'm sorry for all the stuff moving around inside the car, but the people at Honda had this pre-planned out route to take us on all these cool roads to review the new SI on. And halfway through, there was a stop at Neptune's, the diner from the original Fast and Furious movie. The scene where Paul Walker and Vin Diesel are in the orange Mark IV Supra and they race the Ferrari. That's where this scene was shot. The restaurant is located right on the side of the Pacific Coast Highway, which I also have never been to before until today. I never in my life did I ever think I would actually get to go here. It's kind of like, I don't actually feel like real life standing here right now. I know that sounds pathetic for some people who live in California, but this is kind of blowing my mind right now. Wow, that is so gorgeous. It looks a lot like Arizona, kind of. Man, you could easily ruin this car by modifying it. If the average person that thinks they know a lot about cars and they go and throw a fart can on this thing and some Stance Boy wheels, you will hands down ruin this car. It is so amazing out of the box. Look, this is, you gotta be kidding me. I'm using the God hand here. Got one hand on the shifter, one hand on the wheel. Someone will get that initial D reference. Fucking phenomenal car. I want one of these now. Yeah, that single mass flywheel that they changed out from the 10th gen, you do notice it in between gear shifts. It's not as rev hangy. Not that I really didn't notice it that bad. Like, it didn't bother me. I was like, ooh, it's got rev hang. So much grip. So much grip. This LSD does a great job. See, that's another thing too. You start modifying this thing and adding power to it, I think you'd ruin that delicate balance of this thing having grip and maintaining grip while you're giving it hell on corners. So my final thoughts and takeaway on this SI, it's just like the 10th generation, just a little crisper, a little bit more refined, and a little tweaked, just the best it can possibly get, which is kind of scary because I wonder if the next thing to follow will be an electric car. So if you guys never seen one of my car reviews before, I have multiple categories to rate and assess them, starting with the coveted bean score as a rating of 1 to 5 beans based on the feeling behind my belly button when I give it the beans. And the all-new 11th Gen Si is getting a rating of I haven't spent enough time behind the wheel of a 10th Gen Si to sit here and pretend like I can pick out the minute differences in the characteristics between the way they drive, but I will say this, Honda has absolutely fucking nailed the recipe for a fun to drive, affordable front-wheel drive car that makes a practical daily. It doesn't get any better than this. Next, I typically do the mechanic score, but because I do not have this car at my shop on the lift, I'm going to exclude that from this review and wait until I get one in my shop to do a proper mechanic review, which I'll probably do on my other channel for that reason. So, the cookie score. It's based on what you get for what you spend, and the Civic Si Sedan is getting a rating of 5 cookies. The last generation, I didn't do the cookie score back then. That would have been a 5 cookie car also. It's just, this is the best bang for the buck in this category. It doesn't get any better than that. And I'm so thankful they didn't stick a stupid CVT or ruin it with an automatic. It's just a classic recipe that I hope they continue on for maybe a 12th generation before everything becomes flying electric spaceships. Lastly though is the Penguin score, as an assessment on a 1 to 5 Penguin scale on how much I personally like a vehicle. And this 2022 Civic Si is getting a rating of 4.2 penguins. It's not getting any higher of a score than that because I am salty that they discontinued the 3-door coupe. And I understand marketing, they have to sell the most cars that appeal to the broadest spectrum of people. But if we keep going in that path, we're all gonna end up driving electric bars of soap. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review and I'll see you soon with another. Bye.